Hi folks, in this video we're going to talk about a tool that a lot of digital artists, both 2D and 3D, use for their work. You've probably collected a lot of your digital research in a few ways. Maybe you've dragged the image to the desktop to file them later. Maybe you've copied and pasted them to your Google photo albums. Maybe you've copied and pasted them to Photoshop or Illustrator. Or maybe you've created a Pinterest board. But there is a better tool for this, and that tool is PureRef. PureRef is a donationware program that is installed in all of our labs, and you should get it for yourself as well. You can go to pureref.com and make an offer to download the app. No one will shame a poor college student for offering $0, but you should support them if you can. Once installed, definitely pin it in your dock because it should be one of those frequently used programs. When you open PureRef, you'll notice that it's just an empty gray canvas. You can use Control and H to see the hotkeys, and anytime you forget the hotkeys, you can always Control and H to get a reminder of what the keys are. This is a canvas that's ready for you to drag and drop images on top of. You can drag images from your Google image search results or desktop right onto the canvas, and it will collect them for you. You can then click and drag on the images and freely place them where you want. And notice, the canvas is actually resizing to accommodate the images. This is one of the great features of this program, is that it's an infinite canvas for your research, and it's resolution independent, so you don't have to worry about your images being reduced. Almost immediately, you'll get an autosave warning, and you should probably do that. Always save. You should save these to your Google Drive, where your project folder is, maybe in a research folder, and now that will autosave to that folder. So once we've got a couple images on the canvas, there are some things we can do with them. Virtually all of the controls in PureRef are a combination of Shift, Control, and Alt with your left or right mouse buttons. Shift will lock moving your objects to an axis. Control rotates your image. Alt moves the canvas inside the window, which you can also do with the middle mouse button. If you want to move the window around on your screen, you can right-click and drag. Control and Alt will scale an image. Control and Shift will rotate the axis at 45-degree increments. Shift and Alt will flip an image. Shift and click to select multiple images. Up and down arrows move the images above or below. And Delete removes the image. Hold the C key while dragging on an image to crop it. Control plus N will create a note on the canvas. You should always be cropping your images to just the parts you really like in your research, and you should always be adding notes to indicate what you liked about these. Control, Shift, and C will remove the crop. After you crop, you may need to zoom out a bit for the canvas to refresh. Those are the main hotkeys that you're going to use the most in the canvas. However, at any time you can right-click on an image and get a pull-down menu of all the options you can use. One important option is Canvas Grayscale. This makes all of the images on the canvas grayscale so you can focus on the details without color interfering. We've talked in class about how color is one of the last elements of design you should really rely on. Looking at your research in grayscale helps you focus on all of the other elements so that color becomes the final touch. I also like this because it's non-destructive. If I want to bring the color back, I can just turn the color back on in the canvas. You may want to right-click and go to the settings. The two that you should always change are Enable Embed Local Images in Save File and maybe turn off Image Borders. This way your images will always be inside your PureRef file when you open and save in your Google Drive. Now, where PureRef gets interesting for us as designers is in the mode settings. If you right-click under the mode menu, you have 4 options. Always on top keeps PureRef over the top of your windows so that regardless of whatever application you're in, you can always have your research in the foreground. Overlay selection eliminates the canvas behind the images so that it's just the images on top of your work. You will get a notice that you have to switch back to the program in order to disable this. transparent to mouse will allow you to click through your images. This allows you to paint or model on your project through the image without affecting the research. Again, you'll get a notice that you have to switch back to the program to turn this off. This is especially tricky because you will no longer be able to move the images around on the canvas without switching back to the app and turning it off. There are loads of other nifty advanced features in PureRef, like options to optically arrange your images and such. But I'll let you explore those on your own. As you know, I love seeing your research work in your sketchbooks. However, I really would love to see your PureRef collages posted in there instead of singular images. This gives me a sense that you've thought about what elements in each image matter to you. Post your designs by right-clicking and going Save, Export, Scene. Or you can just screen grab the PureRef canvas and paste that into your sketchbook. I can't stress enough how much this little program will improve your design work. You should be creating PureRef files for all of your projects. So go download it and start posting your research collages in your sketchbooks. All right, stay inspired, work well, and I'll see you next time.